You're watching Canadian Muslim News on Muslim Network TV from Toronto, Ontario. I'm Catherine Bullock. Assalamu alaikum and greetings of peace. Today, a conversation with Student Asim about his initiative to combat Islamophobia. But first, some news headlines. School closures in Quebec, Ontario, delay in-person return. Former NDP leader and political trailblazer McDonough passes away. Muslim man to be given Citation Award for saving 3 children from burning home. Synagogue hostage taker had mental health issues, brother says. And now the details. Children were set to return to in-person classes in Quebec and Ontario today after an extended winter break. Instead, in-person classes were cancelled as a major snowstorm hit. Environment Canada had issued several weather alerts, and some regions were expected to get up to 40 centimetres of snow. School boards had been focused on getting classrooms ready for the students' safe return, with rapid testing, improving ventilation, and providing staff with personal protective equipment. Former New Democratic leader McDonough passed away on Saturday after a lengthy struggle with Alzheimer's disease. McDonough was known for paving the way for women in politics, as well as defending Canadian Muslims in Parliament. After 9/11, McDonough made a famous speech in the House of Commons that is remembered fondly by Muslims, in which she said that we need Canadians to know that Osama is a Canadian name, that Muhammad is a Canadian name, and that worshipping in a mosque is a Canadian tradition. For millions of Canadians, McDonough transcended party affiliation and was simply Alexa, with no last name needed. 18-year-old Adam Attila is being hailed as a hero by local authorities after he helped 3 children escape their burning home. On Saturday morning, Attila saw 2 little girls and another 3rd child still stuck inside his neighbour's burning house in Mississauga. Attila jumped onto the roof of the burning house and evacuated the 3 children. He told local news sources that he acted quickly when he saw no one else doing anything. Mississauga Fire and Emergency Services Chief Darren Rizzi says she plans on giving a citation award to Attila for his daring rescue. Malik Faisal Akram, the man who caused a dramatic 10-hour standoff at a Texas synagogue this weekend, had mental health issues, says his brother. The 44-year-old British national held 4 people captive at Congregation Beth Israel in Colleyville, Texas. Akram wanted Pakistani neuroscientist Dr. Afia Siddiqui to be brought to the synagogue so that they could both go to heaven together. President Joe Biden called this siege an act of terror. Akram's brother Gulbar Akram said his family worked with the FBI to convince his brother to release the hostages unharmed. Several Muslim leaders and mosques promptly issued statements of solidarity with the hostages and condemned the attacker. That's it for the news, and now an interview coming up. Anti-Muslim racism is a big issue, and there are many different people trying to tackle it. We have with us today someone who calls himself Student Asim. Welcome to the show. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. It's good to see you again, Sister Kathy.
It's nice to see you too, Brother Asim. You have started a website called Islamophobia.io, I believe, which is meant to collect the stories of Muslims who've experienced racism and build a network of solidarity and allies with non-Muslims. Tell us about the website a little, just briefly.
Definitely. Islamophobia.io is a digital archival project designed for outreach. It's centered around Muslim stories and allies who have stories about Muslims, and those people who want to stand up for Muslim communities and those communities that appear Muslim.
When I introduced you at the beginning of the show, I said there are many initiatives trying to combat Islamophobia. Why did you decide to do this website?
I wanted to design something that's simple, that's quick, that's in one place, that's digital, and that's instant. At Islamophobia.io, we're not really interested in perfected stories or certain people who have exclusive stories. I'm interested in working with the public and hearing from the public. So people might write in different styles. It's more important to just show activism and to just make change rather than having a perfect story.
So people are writing in saying, this happened to me, or I saw this happen to Muslims that I know. Are those the kinds of stories you're collecting?
So Islamophobia.io is really a container of stories of Muslim communities. And again, those people taken as Muslim, for example, like the Sikh community, who have had a lot of Islamophobia against them. But in general, the platform has a poetic connection to prejudice just by talking about by yourself, about your story, about, let's say, your mom, or about love, or about your brother, or pets. I mean, so we have many different story categories. And of course, we have story categories like Islamophobia and anti-Muslim or prejudice. The whole idea is that when people encounter this as an invitation now, and the public reads these stories, it's an opportunity to learn about said communities.
This seems like a very unique venture. Are you aware of something else like it?
I mean, there are stories. Storytelling is something common. People write stories and tell stories on different platforms as well. The advantage here is that this platform is all in one place. It's a singular hub, and it's specific and segmented through categories to target specific aspects of living life in these communities. And as well, they're digital, they're instant, and one thing that I've also designed it as is, when you come to read stories here, you'll come to read the stories you didn't come to see. There's so many stories here, and they're all in this archive. And there's many stories that you weren't expecting to read, and now you'll get those.
You've been trying to deal with anti-Muslim racism for a very long time. You have a couple of books, Khadija Goes to School and My Skin Brown. Why did you decide to go for a website instead of another book?
I'm a multimedia artist, so I like to just do what I feel is the best way to reach. I think this platform is about reaching. It's about making change, and that's what I'm interested in. And I think that this is the best way to do that. It's digital, and people can access it immediately.
How are people finding out about it and contributing their stories?
I'm doing a lot of outreach. I'm reaching out to educators. I'm reaching out to people in public schools, private schools. I'm reaching out to community leaders and just people on the street, and we've had some amazing responses from all people, people from all walks of life. It's really incredible to give people, have that opportunity for people to share their voice and make change.
Do you have a favorite story that you'd like to share with us that has been
You know,
loaded?
I've been really blown away by the intimacy. These stories are so intimate. Some people write just a few lines, but what you get is something very, very special because it's your truth and it's in your voice. So I've actually shed a few tears over some of these stories. Today, for example, I received a story about the Quebec City mass shooting, the letter campaign that I have right now. It was directed directly at the victims that were unfortunately murdered. So these stories are very telling and powerful.
Okay, you just mentioned the letter writing campaign, so let's ask you to explain that for us who aren't aware of it.
Yeah, absolutely. What's happening right now on Islamophobia.io is I'm getting into more particular types of curated stories. So there's an opportunity right now to write letters of digital solidarity for the Quebec City mosque shooting victims. These letters will create living memories of the victims and also be action against Islamophobia.
For people who are older in the audience or not technologically savvy like myself, what's a digital letter writing campaign?
So the advantage of this is that these letters are for January the 29th, but on January the 30th and on January the 31st and on June the 30th and so on, you can still access these letters. So when the cameras, the lights, and the action all go away, you will still have access to these letters. So these letters and the story bank that we have will continually make perpetual change into the future.
And these are letters written towards the victims?
Absolutely, yes. It's an opportunity to do something about it. We're talking about, how do we tackle Islamophobia and all of that. And, there's, maybe different ways, but for me, it's about doing something instantly. It's the public doing something right now. And
keep going.
Sorry, yeah, no, and I feel like that opportunity is special. I was at the vigil when the London terror attacks happened, and I was impressed and amazed by the people that showed up in London for that vigil. But I think that a lot of people want to do something about anti-Muslim hate or just about hate in general, but they may not know what to do exactly, or they may not know about this place. And I think that if they had the opportunity to make instant change, they might want to do that.
Have the Quebec community been made aware of this? Are they also writing letters? Can people write in French?
Absolutely. The very first letter on this platform was in French, and I was like, wow, that's incredible. I do want to reach the French community more in Quebec. And this is also an international opportunity. It's not just limited to Canada, but I really want to hear from students, from community leaders, and just the people of Quebec. And please write in French.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you a challenging question.
Okay.
How do you think writing a letter can combat the anti-Muslim hate?
It's about doing something. I think this is a shift from just hearing about Islamophobia to actually doing something about Islamophobia. Like, just by the act of letter writing is action against Islamophobia. People will read these letters, and it's an opportunity for people to when you put it out there, people can be touched by that. I call it digital philanthropy, right? You really don't know who will come across these letters, but I bet you someone will. And that one letter even can change someone's perspective, or offer them food for thought, or give them pause. So I think it's important that just the fact that you did something is important.
So I guess as a multimedia artist who's also written books, you believe in the power of the word.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I think that it's amazing to be part of an initiative, and it's a true honor when people write and share sentiments and can make change. It is a very, very powerful feeling. I've actually gotten some feedback already. Some people are very shocked by some of the stories that they read, and amazed at the intimacy, the details. They will give you pause.
Now, you go by the name of Student Asim. Is there something special behind that?
I think, yeah, there is. I guess it's a few things. It's really a struggle to try to reach myself, and to reach someone else maybe. And I take a student approach in the sense that I try to be curious. I try to be resourceful with whatever I have, and I'm kind of happy-go-lucky, and just try to jump in and try to do something.
So that's the constant learning until we can learn no more attitude coming out in your name.
I hope so. Yeah. I mean, I'm always going to be a student, and just want to keep it fresh and try to keep it going.
Well, I hope we can all be like that. Thank you very much. Is there any? So if somebody wants to participate and send
Yes.
a letter, how will they?
Definitely. Please check out the general link is Islamophobia.io. And in particular for Jan 29th, I'm encouraging the public to write letters before the 29th. So that is Islamophobia.io/Jan29.
All right. Well, thank you very much for the efforts that you've put into this initiative, and for coming on the show to explain it to us.
Thank you so much for having me.
You've been watching Canadian Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Stay safe for the next episode. Like and subscribe to our show. God bless.